Happy holidays, you handsome hedgehogs. Welcome to the Santa's Claus. In here, my claws rip the good kids apart and punish the naughty. Now, I know I sounded like I'm in the Einstein files, but trust me, you won't find me there. It's all redacted. That's the only information I know is in there. It's not just E equals MC square. Now, what does that mean? Well, obviously, it means that E, standing for Enderman, equals Minecraft, and square because obviously there are squares in Minecraft. My wife is laughing at me. Can you not? Now, if you came here to watch the video actually and not laugh at my shitty jokes, you would know that this video is about the difference between ASCALON pre and post searing. What's the searing? That's the event in which fairies basically took over and everything burned. That's how it always ends. So what is the bloody difference, you'll ask? In this case, ASCALON. No, please don't go, please. But before we start, please remember to drop a like to this video and subscribe the channel to help me grow. I'm a little plant who needs some water, and in this case, this water is your subscriptions. The more I get, the faster I grow, and the faster I grow, I actually might start earning money on YouTube by wasting your time. So if you want to support my dream of becoming an actual fairy, that won't happen. Please drop a like to this video, sub to the channel, and prove that you are the
strongest, the smartest.
Anyway, let's begin! So in pre-searing, that's the pre-fairy event, the first clear difference that you might notice... Oh, the video will have spoilers, by the way. Now that's out of the way. You can see, clearly, that the atmosphere is pretty chill. It's autumn in there, and the trees are colourful. The people are walking around and chilling. Basically, the guards don't have too much of work. There are some chars who are besieging their city. The char is basically the fairy things that really like fire. That sounds like some illegal connections, but let's just leave that to the authorities. I'm pretty sure that ASCALON guards will deal with them without any issues. Long live King Underben and Prince Rig. Well, no, they actually didn't. They failed to protect from fairies, and the city burned down, and the first thing that you notice is actually that the city looks ugly and destroyed, and the main colour, as in ASCALON pre-searing, was like yellowish green. Post-searing, it's orange, brown, and like that shitty kind of colour, you know what I mean? Like when you had a good hamburger, or taco, or Dorito, or a kebab, whatever you prefer to eat. That is the unfortunate colour. Sorry for the people eating. What is this comparison? Well, in pre-searing, most of the places are filled with animals and wildlife, which is the same thing. Post-searing is dominated by devourers who are ready to devour your ass. Count in additional ghouls and char, and you're in for a ride. Compared to pre-searing, post-searing is very much a hostile environment. Whole style of it is pretty hostile. Now, another obvious difference is the difference in size, and size, trust me, does matter. Don't know if you noticed, but all of the ASCALON actually is a bit different, like the spacing, the places you can go to, but also the amount of journey you have to go through, especially that applies to Ashford Abbey and Sardelak Sanitariums. It's basically mental asylum for people who suffered during the searing, which was made from the previous thing that was the Ashford Abbey. Now the Northlands seem pretty much similar, although the vibe of them is also a bit different. And also you can see that the Pycon Square is now available as an outpost, while in pre-searing it actually also is if you have a new character created in the Reforged mode. What stayed the same, however, is that the fairies are still a threat, and also they are all also at level 8. Their locations, however, on the map are a bit different, and also the bosses that were lightning the torch, the fire of the char, the vial, whatever it's called, like the PlayStation, you know, the fairy one, they're not there. So basically the placement of them is a bit different, but they are still there. And they won't leave you, Roscharova. Another difference, and that I think is pretty obvious, is that in pre-searing, besides this annoying imp, which goes before it shoots, You can have an animal friend if you're a ranger, or a couple of minced meat cutlets, which are uncooked and pretty bloody, if you're a necromancer. In contrast to that, in post-searing you have your henchmen who'll help you do your bloody deals, starting with Steffi Boy, the tanky tank, Renya, who likes to shoot her little bow, Bachelor of Medical Sciences Celestia, and Orion, who just likes to look edgy. Another difference is that while in pre-searing you have your wonderful quests and a couple of vendors, that's about it. In post-searing, that is where the guild content starts, and you also can open your Sunlight chests, which hold the inventory, and it's shared in between of the characters you have. Another difference is that when you stay in pre-searing, you have 2 titles exclusive for staying in this area that you can do before leaving and continuing with the Prophecies campaign. The first title is Legendary Defender of ASCALON, which I actually had. This title is when you get level 20, that is the maximum level in the game, in the pre-searing only, which is absolutely possible. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to create a video on this topic. It's not that difficult, just a bit grindy, and actually when you go through with the game, people will appreciate you having this title. Another title you can have, and that one is a bit more tricky, is Legendary Survivor of ASCALON. That one requires you to survive whole pre-searing up until the level 20, which is not that easy, but when you get it and leave the pre-searing if you want to, people will see you as a divine being. Though why leave pre-searing at all? When you have these titles, you can just stay with the pre-searing's thriving community that has been not dying for the past 20 years, and I'm happy to be a part of it. This community is pretty helpful, pretty happy to accept you, and open for trade, for playing together. There isn't much content in pre-searing, that's true, but it's pretty much worth checking it out, while in post-searing, as opposed to pre, there is less players, because people just continue with the quests, so you can find them more likely in the later game areas, while in pre-searing, there is just a massive amount of players, especially now after Forged came out. Is pre-searing easier than post-searing? Depends. For solo player, yes it is. You need henchmen in post-searing ASCALON to progress alone, especially at the lower levels. In pre-searing everything is doable alone, as long as you have this annoying imp, but you can do it with another player as well. And one thing I really like about pre-searing is standing on the wall and watching the Char and the Ascalonians fight. They're actually fighting, it's not like pre-recorded thing, they're actually fighting, and whenever someone dies, they respawn. So it's like endless fight, but it's actually going on, it's actually NPCs fighting each other, which for the reality of 2005 was pretty damn impressive in my opinion, as a little quirk to watch. And that would be it. The differences between pre and post-searing ASCALON is not much, but it's an honest bit. Pre-searing ASCALON, thriving community, interesting quests, not too difficult, no henchmen. Post-searing ASCALON, just the beginning of a game which is empty, because most of the players just went onward with the quests. But it has a pretty depressing vibe, which is actually a cool experience to go through and absolutely worth trying. Subscribe to my channel if you like more Guild Wars content like that, and remember that this will help me fill my Polish pockets with freshly bought kielbasa when I actually start making any money on that. Well, I have to have around 1,000 subs, and maybe I'll get 4 zloty per video, which will be a deal of my life in it. So thank you so much, gentlemen and gentlemen. There are no ladies on this channel. Ladies nuts. I apologize, but the statistics is how I know my wife doesn't watch me too often, because there's no women in here. Anyways, just like an ending, you know, it's just like we're all maidenless. Even though we're married, we're in fact maidenless. Well, in fact, we should be maiden more. Just leave this video before it gets anywhere, alright? Let's just agree on that. Cheerio.